Welcome back, anyone. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back, anyone. Welcome back, everyone. Sorry about the grammatical error. Earlier, I did I guess you could say, an epic drawer unboxing where I showed you guys the cases of video games that I own from the drawers. And that's a four-part series if you want to see that and see my opinion about those older games that were released generally between 2006, anywhere from 2006 through 2008. So I think a couple of them were released in 2009 in there. But we're going to move on today and we're going to do an updated collection. Now, what this means is that I show you guys my booklet, which contains nearly all of my games. Some of my games are in the consoles. I think Skyrim's in the console right now, and some of the games are probably in separate cases where I'm unable to find unless I dig through everything, such as the Halo 3, the Halo Reach. Is it the Halo Reach or Halo 3? Yeah, the Halo 3 multiplayer maps. Without further ado, let's reveal the case. So I'm just going to reposition the camera because I think these videos, I'm sure you always want to know. A lot of feedback and they spark a lot of interest. So I want you guys to be able to see the case. I turn off my Xbox and computer so there shouldn't be any white noise. And I also have the white noise cancellation feature enabled, but you still may be able to hear it in the background, unfortunately. I have earplugs in, so I tune out more noise and you guys, this camera picks up. So this is a warning. Advertisement saying these CDs shouldn't be exposed to the sun. Oh, it's 100 degrees where I live, so they are probably melting. Metal is probably melting. Alright, so let me just zoom in a bit more here. So as you can see, we got Bulletstorm, Call of Duty 4, and Lynch and Kane, Dead Men. And like I said, these aren't in all my games, but these are most of them. I don't want to go through the trouble of having to drag the few games I have in the consoles out and having to find some of the discs that are randomly dispersed throughout the house or possibly in storage. Just for this video, so I'll just show you guys most of my games. This is Bioshock 2, Dragon Age Origins, Army of Two, Modern Warfare 2. And if anything stands out, I will make a special note and start talking about it. Here's Mass Effect 2, both discs. There's Borderline, John Woo presents Stranglehold. This was a relatively excellent game that went about unnoticed. I'm sure you guys have heard of these other games that I'm currently presenting or visually showing in the form of a tangible disc. With Stranglehold, you could essentially move very acrobatically, and I think you could slow down time in that game as well. And I did have an Xbox Live mode, a decent game. I got it when the price diminished to a very low price point. Lord of the Rings Battle for Mars 2, an excellent game. It's too bad they shut down their online servers, but you could play 6 different armies, an excellent RTS console port. It has an expansion for the PC, which is Rise of the Witch King, which is a preferable game, but the community for that I think is dead. Bomberman, an excellent game, unfortunately didn't maintain the Xbox Live audience that it should have, because the game is very exciting to be able to play a innovative Bomberman game online from a bird's eye view or from a third person perspective, which I think was new to the Bomberman series at the time. Alpha is a decent game. You could build turrets, you could summon vehicles. You're essentially a one-man army in that game. I think you may be able to call for reinforcements, I'm not 100% sure. There's Call of Duty 3, Imagine, and the Forsaken Kingdom. I remember I think I got that GameStop and it was already open and advertised as a new game. And the thing though is, I wonder if you ever want to return those new games that are open, if they'll let you, because they technically are open, but they're purchased as new games, so they probably won't even let you, which I think is unethical. They should be advertised as used games, or new games that are open, or quote unquote new games that are open should fall within their open game return policy. There's Call of Duty World at War, 99 Nights. You're just constantly battling that game. Facebreaker, that game is a bunch of celebrities such as Kim Kardashian. There's Cameo. A lot of these games are older, but I got them relatively recently. Within the past 2 years. I wouldn't pay for retail value for most of these games. A lot of them I gotta buy one get one free or Blockbuster, buy two get one free and use coupons and have the 10% off card at GameStop. But and then a bunch of these that you'll see later I got from GameFly for $10, new and everything in pristine condition with all my past legendary. NBA 2K9, you fight a bunch of monsters in the game, such as Minotaur, Cameo, Warhammer, Battle March, another RTS that isn't as excellent as Battle for Middle-earth 2. Let's look at the left side, TMNT movie game, Halo 3 ODST. A bad game without health packs, but I did have the Halo 3 multiplayer maps, Chrome Hounds. Gears of War 3 was decent, Two Worlds, Turok, Sonic the Hedgehog, another older game, Mortal Kombat. Saints Row was amazing. They had excellent modes such as Protect the Pimp, Blinked Out Ride, Fantasy Star Universe, and MMO, Golden Compass, a movie game. Now that game, Sonic Superstar Tennis, you could probably get for $3. Pirates of the Caribbean, Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe, and Overlord. Overlord was like the R version of Pikmin. I controlled an army in the third-person perspective. Left 4 Dead was amazing. It was a zombie survival game where you truly had to work as a team to survive. And there was a bunch of special infected, Time Shift, another decent game if you could find it for $5. The game is futuristic. You could reverse time, or I think slow down time. Battlefield Bad Company. Let's move on to the next page, or the previous page. Star Wars, the original trilogy, Transformers, War for Cybertron. I prefer Dark of the Moon. Lord of the Rings Conquest, similar to Star Wars Battlefront, Crackdown. And then we have Dragon Ball Z Burst Limit. I think this is the first Dragon Ball Z game on Xbox Live. Fallout 3, Earth's Defense Force 2017. This is a relatively rare game. The Insect Armageddon, the sequel one, is much better. And essentially in the Earth's Defense Force series, you have unlimited ammo. You're outnumbered by fighting giant ants and spaceships or giant spiders. And Earth's Defense Force 2017 has a bunch of vehicles. I think the newer one does as well. It also has some power-ups which will help you along the way. But the whole concept is essentially being outnumbered in a futuristic city, and the physics are realistic where essentially anything you hit, actually they're not, because when I think about it, in Insect Armageddon you could take a sniper and you could just one-shot a spaceship, but essentially your guns do pack a powerful punch or a powerful blow, and anything they hit will pretty much explode. So you can do a lot of damage by yourself, and it becomes a difficult game because you're outnumbered, and you run to, especially when you get cornered. There's Naruto the Broken Bond, an inferior game compared to the original one, Rise of the Ninja. Usually the sequels are inferior to their predecessor. Resident Evil, I think that was Resident Evil 5 where you can't even move. Dark Messiah, Might and Magic, Spider-Man 3, X-Men Origins, Wolverine, Rainbow Six Vegas 2, Dead Island. That game's essentially an MMO. Skylander, Spyro's Adventure. You use action figures which are already embedded in the game, and they are essentially memory cards that display the character that you already have downloaded, which is another way for Activision to redeem a huge profit. Here we have Unreal Tournament. I think this is Unreal Tournament 3, Saints Row 2. Saints Row 2 was terrible. Mass Effect Halo Wars. Halo Wars wasn't as good as Battlefront Wars 2, but I suppose it's better than nothing. You're on the movies. A game that it shows you in the movie. Pretty silly. Called Up Saga, a rare game. It's kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh! Except not as innovative. Creative Assassin's Creed Revolution in their time with Renaissance era. Grand Theft Auto 4. In my opinion, that's a terrible game. I enjoy the survival mode of Alien vs Predator. It's too bad the community for that game is dead. When it first came out, Pure 3, Sonic Generations is decent. Neo 2, similar to Neo 1 or Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2. It has the Juggernaut as a creator bonus character that you get from Pure Internet, I think, at GameStop. Dragon Z, Raging Blast, Enchanted Arms, Circle, Kingdom Fire, Circle of Duty, Assassin's Creed 2, Batman Arkham Asylum was a decent game. Dark Void, Call of Duty Black Ops. Black Ops was an improvement over Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 because it had the guns had less recoil. This game is similar to Mario Kart with the exception that you need to get a cluster of drift in order to gain any real momentum, and that takes skill. You gotta have perfect timing, and when you drift you lose speed in the short run, but you can possibly gain in the long run if your timing is correct. Lynch and Kane, Dog Days 2, Frontline, Fields of War, Dead or Alive 4, Star Wars The Force Unleashed, Viking, Naruto Rise of a Ninja was excellent, even though it had a small character roster and incorporated visuals from the anime, and it really made you feel as though you were experiencing the anime in Naruto shoes because it followed anime so closely, and surely captured the world of Naruto or the world of the Hidden Leaf Village. You could explore the Hidden Leaf Village in that. Enslaved, Crackdown 2. Brink was a fantastic game. It's too bad to think of the reception that the game had the potential to get. There's another class-based game similar to TF2. Soul Calibur 5, Fallout New Vegas, Lego Harry Potter, Years 1 through 4, Warhammer Space Marines. I love that game. I think you could play in a third-person mode or from a bird's eye view, where essentially you are a one-man army. You also have troops that back you up, but I don't think they're that helpful. Marvel vs. Capcom 3, an amazing. Essentially, this game was Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was originally for the arcades, and then was I think ported later to the consoles, whatever rare game. But this is an easier game to get. That is a lot of people's first experience getting the chance to play the Marvel vs. Capcom series at home. You also have the First Temper and Perfect Dark Zero. Some people's favorite FPS is Perfect Dark Zero for the N64, but I didn't really see anything special with that game. I think I got it for a bit less than $2. A lot of these games I get either for free with a promotion or for an extremely relatively low price, because if you have a buy 2 get 1 free, and you're going to get 1/3 of your games for free. If you have buy 1 get 1 free, then you get half the games for free, plus they're already discounted. There's some Wii games. This Yu-Gi-Oh! Dual Transfers, I think it's an excellent game, and it doesn't matter that the controls utilize a Wii remote, which is similar to a TV remote, because you have a plethora of time to make your moves. Mario Strikers Charge had the potential to be amazing. It was ruined with back control. Super Smash Bros. Brawl, a relatively slow combat system. Wii Sports, that came to the Wii for free, so I can't complain about that. Super Mario Galaxy, terrible control. Sonic Riders, it utilizes the game controller. It's okay. Mario and Sonic at Olympic Games, that's a terrible game. Mario Sports Mix had the potential to be great, uses terrible controls. Battalion Wars 2 had the potential to be great, uses terrible controls. And Crossbow Training uses terrible controls by being a rail shooter that incorporates the ability for you to move, so it's essentially not a rail shooter anymore. It's a terrible game with terrible controls. Tatsunoko vs. Capcom, a decent game. You could use the game controller, and you could also use a arcade stick. I got that I think for like $12. Super Mario Bros. Wii, terrible game, terrible controls. Had the potential to be great, but you got to shake the Wii remote upside down and inside out. Essentially, you got to shake it perfectly, and it's almost impossible to time where you shake it perfectly and then flip it and have to do all these difficult movements, so it ruins the game. But Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3, excellent game. You could use the game controller. Naruto Shippuden, Clash of the Ninja Revolution 3, excellent game. You could use a game controller. Super Mario Galaxies 2 would be an excellent game if you could use a game controller, but since you can't, it's a terrible game. The problem with these games is you can't use a game controller. Had they allowed you to use a game controller, Nintendo would, I think, have made millions of more dollars and would have got a lot more sales, and it would have taken seconds for them to integrate the game controller. Even if they didn't want to take the 1 extra millisecond to assign buttons, they could have just allowed you to plug it in and manually assign your own buttons, where A is how you jump, B is how you punch, or R is how you block. Essentially, there was no excuse why they couldn't do it. Even for games with a PC, you could plug in a controller and assign your own buttons that don't have a default that you prefer. So it just doesn't make any sense that they couldn't do it, but because of that, they suffered the consequences. And I think they took their first annual loss and hit red since the past 3 decades, so they are doing terrible. Timothy Smash 'em Up, great game. You could use a good controller. The roster is relatively short. Punch Out, a terrible game. You can't use a game controller. The concept for these games is excellent, though. The issue is the controls, which are the most important element of the game, because if you can't utilize the controls well, you can't even play the game. I don't mind having a challenge, but I shouldn't be held back because the controls are terrible. Look, if I die in Call of Duty because I can't aim, that's different, though. That's my fault, though. But if I can't aim, though, because you have to shake it a specific way, though, and even after shaking the Wii remote upside down, inside out, right, left, and then turning it back and forth and flip it, and then hitting the A, which looks like half of the thumbstick and TV remote, and not even being able to aim after 1 minute in like one spot. I mean, there's just something wrong with those type of controls where you can't do a basic action. The Super Mario Brothers history game is excellent. You could use a game controller. GoldenEye 07 Reloaded, great revamp of the series. You could use a game controller. Pokemon Battle Revolution, doesn't matter that you could use a Wii remote. Timing is not an issue. This game you have plenty of time to choose your move. Kirby's Dream Land, terrible game. Can't use a game controller. Decent console as well. Dragon Ball Revenge of King Piccolo, excellent game. You can use a game controller for that game. Metroid Other M, terrible game. Can't use a game controller. Terrible controls. Ghost Squad Recon, that game's excellent. It's a rail shooter, which is meant to be played on the Wii, because the Wii is meant to be played with motion controls, and rail shooters are meant to be strictly played with motion controls. Super Mario All-Stars. I think actually this is a disc, and the one before that was a DVD that came with it. That's an excellent game. Batman the video game had potential to be so great, but the controls are terrible, so it ruins the game. Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm. Not as good as UNS 2, in my opinion, on Ultimate Ninja Storm Generations. Hive Judgment, that game was like Yu-Gi-Oh! I have the disc that I got for a relatively low price, but I don't have the mat, the cards, and the stand for the camera, so what's the point? Resistance 2, generic, infamous, not as good as it was hyped up to be. I loved Lord of the Rings Eragon's Conquest just because I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan, even though that game was rushed and could have been much better. It still has, for somebody who loves Lord of the Rings, though, almost any Lord of the Rings game would be good, even if it's a Burger King Xbox 360 Lord of the Rings game. I mean, Burger King did release discs, though, that were relatively low price compared to other modern day games, but just because I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan, I still like nearly any Lord of the Rings game, even if it's relatively bad in other people's perspective compared to other games, because the idea that it has that theme incorporated into the game, except for the lack of effort in the game, if that makes any sense. And Lord of the Rings does an excellent job with just the basic concept of a hack and slash game, which you can expect from Lord of the Rings. God of War, I think that's a collection. That's God of War 3, I think. Uncharted 2, Among Thieves, I recommend getting that. It's an excellent game. God of War Collection. That's a HD remix of 1 and 2 with trophies. Metal Gear Solid 4, whenever I try to hide, I always get found in that game. You hide under boxes, Little Big Planet. Never Dead was interesting. You can never die, you're mortal. You could use your head and arm to go under vents and open doors, and you could remove your body parts. It's a very weird game. Plants vs. Zombies, that's an excellent game. It's a tower defense game. I highly recommend getting it if you could pick it up for $10. let's move on. Give me a second here, I'm going to plug in the charger. I don't know where the end of the cord is. I mean, I think I know where it is, but I'd have to dig through all these wires. They're all tangled up together. Let's just try to... Actually, never mind, I found it. There goes my digging days. I'm officially a retired digger, unlike the short recess where the diggers dig 24/7. Devil May Cry 4, White Knight Chronicles, Hog, Afro Samurai. I'm not even think I've played Afro Samurai yet. The Sonic Ultimate Genesis Collection. This is my version of the Genesis. People ask me, do you own the Genesis? I say no, but I own a bunch of the games. I think this has 43 or 46 games. Killzone 2. Fantastic Four Rise of Silver Surfer. That's my first PS3 game. It's just crap, but I got a game, I think for like $7 just to have a game for the PS3 to try it, because what's the point of getting a console if we don't even have one game for it? Let's see how it plays out. Killzone 2, Ratchet and Clank Future Tools of Destruction, Splatterhouse, got that for $10. Uncharted Drake's Fortune, I think I got that on Black Friday. Super Street Fighter 4, I think I got that for $15 at the Sony store. MX vs ATV Untamed. It sucks that the online mode needs an online pass, which it doesn't come with if you get a Blockbuster for $10. I have the Dead Space 2 Limited Edition, both discs, so Battlefield 2, Battlefield 3 Limited Edition, both discs as well. Left 4 Dead 2, not as good as Left 4 Dead 1, but it has new zombies and it's still the same concept, which works. Red Faction Armageddon, Star Wars The Force Unleashed 2, that game's fun to play for a short period of time. Homefront, Cartoon Network, Punch-Out Explosion, it did a really bad job. Combat is relatively slow and controls feels stiff. The Triple Pack, Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 2, a great game. Earth's Defense Force and Sick Armageddon, an excellent game. Lord of the Rings War in the North, that game could have been a bit faster and could have had more enemies and could have been more of a hack and slash element, but it plays out more like an RPG, so not the best game in the world, but it's decent since it's the Lord of the Rings game. I'm a huge fan. Sort of the movie game, Jumbo the Ultimate Tenkanchi, the controls are very integrated and very involved and in-depth and confusing, but if you can master them, then the game is fun as hell. I unfortunately can't, so it ruins the gameplay experience for me. If somebody who's very casual and doesn't have the time to dedicate his whole life to a game. NBA Jam, an excellent game, simple controls, Duke Nukem Forever, game's okay. Batman, Arkham City, a decent game, that's a decent sequel to Arkham Asylum. Lego Star Wars 3, I think that's a Clone Wars one. Transformers Dark of the Moon, excellent game, unlimited ammo. Much better controls than Warfare Cybertron in my opinion. I think I ran on a different engine. Gears of War 2, not as good as Gears of War 3. Gears of War 1, not as good as Gears of War 3. Kirby's Epic Yarn, I still have yet to play that, I think. Toy Story 3, I think I still have yet to play that. Connect Adventures, decent game for a couple of dollars. Utilizes the Connect well. I like the handball game. Resistance 3, Killzone 3, just more generic FPSs. Let's move on. Mario Kart Wii, excellent game. Uses a game controller. It could be called Mario Motorcycle, because the motorcycles are faster than the cars, but apparently they don't have as good control. But why do you need control if you're already ahead of the car by a billion miles per hour? If you make a mistake, you can still make a comeback, especially with items. Dragon Age 2, Sly Cooper Collection, I haven't got the chance to playing that yet. Dungeon Siege 3, that game is a bunch of talk, and that game's okay. Halo Anniversary, I do like the idea that it's a port of Halo 1 to the Xbox 360 in HD, and it has Halo 1 and Halo 2 maps integrated in it. However, I don't like the idea that you're dependent on health packs and your shields can go down. Tekken 6, Dragon Ball 2, Raging Blast, it comes with a movie. I think the movie doesn't come on the disc. I think you need to watch it online. Not 100% sure. Or actually, it may come on the disc. Spider-Man, Shattered Dimensions, Modern Warfare 3, not as good as the original Modern Warfare. Call of Duty, Naruto, Ultimate Ninja Storm Generations. It doesn't have Lars, but it is an upgrade of the series. DC Universe Online, you can play the game for free and download for free. Haunted, the Demon Forge just seems like a okay game. Infamous 2, nothing new. Mafia 2, nothing new. DSX, Human Revolutions. Human Revolution, nothing new. X-Men Destiny, nothing new either. Worse than X-Men Legends. Halo Reach, a great game with the exception of the idea that you're dependent on health packs. Crisis 2, it has amazing graphics, especially if you want to push your Xbox to the limit. Assassin's Creed Revelations, I love the tower defense mode. Shadowrun, probably the best game in here by far. The Disc for Rage and Green Lantern. Green Lantern is a relatively better movie game compared to other movie games. What else do we have? Let's move on, I'm almost done. This game was Kingdom of Fighters with the soundtracks. Kingdom of Fighters is okay. Evo 1, decent game. Uncharted 3, decent game. Need for Speed, Hot Pursuit Limited Edition, the game's okay. Flashpoint Red River, I haven't got the chance to play it, probably another generic FPS. Halo 3, amazing game. Another Rage Disc, Darkness 2, I haven't got the chance to play it. I think King of Fighters 13. Game's okay. Max Payne 3, the game's okay as well. The Orange Box is an excellent game. It's just 5 games. Deadliest Warriors, it's an amazing game. It's supposed to be realistic. Or if you get shot, you get one shot at it. Or if you get slashed, you could use a limb. Or become severely wounded and wind up bleeding. It's supposed to be a realistic game, which the show Deadliest Warriors is supposed to incorporate the element of realism. So the game does an excellent job incorporating that element. I'm almost out of pages though, but I could still fill it up in the future. Thanks for watching, and that's the majority of my modern day video game collection. I still have a bunch of older games, but this is the majority of my modern day video game collection for PS3, Xbox 360, and Wii games. I still probably have games in the consoles and games that are in the cases. I think I have Skyrim in the Xbox 360 console now. The game's okay as well, but you could get these games for relatively low prices. The ones that I talked about was Enthusiasm. I know my voice sounds like a monologue. I know my voice is, what's the word? It sounds like it's monotone. There we go. Yeah, I know my voice is monotone, but the ones that I talked about a bit more was, I guess, a bit more enthusiasm, or a bit more, how do I say it? Well, I guess my voice is monotone and there really can't be any enthusiasm. The ones there we go. The ones I talked about more with a positive word of mouth will be the ones I recommend getting for relatively low price, especially because Shadowrun, that game is dirt cheap. Thanks for watching. I'm signing on. See you guys later. Have a great day.